start with your introduction.
So I am Saurabh Kumar Jha, working as a software engineer in front-end development at Amanta Technologies since 1 year, and I have worked on various projects in my portfolio. A network in a box is the main project which we are doing currently, and in that project we are providing network configuration to the person, whoever is the product. It is a lab operation system for 5G. If you connect your devices, your phones or anything with the MC number provided with it, so you can connect with the NIV, make a system, make a lab where everything is going transmitted through 5G. So we are not communicating with the transmission. We are just providing the interface to the person whichever is being connected to the NIV. And this is the system which we have made. And respective to this, we have made another children system to this, and I have worked on most of them. So this is my project portfolio, and besides that, I am 2021 pass out from IP University, and it's and I am at the center right now.
Okay, so for that frontend to create, so what technologies tech stacks we are using right now?
I am using Angular 13. So Angular 13 and HTML5, CSS3. And these are the things which we are using in that. And for the CS frameworks, we are using two frameworks together to make unique design perspective. We are using Bootstrap for buttons and everything, layout and everything construction to that. And NG Zoro is for the model and making it more beautiful looking UI.
Okay, so you are aware that most of time with the Angular, right? Yeah. Okay. So do you know what is the latest version for Angular right now?
Angular 15 is the latest version which we have, which they have released uh, uh, in November, I think. So they have most of the things which we were Angular 14 or Angular.
Mm. And when many features of it, you gone through that.
Uh, I know more the little bit of because I haven't used them. The main feature which they have introduced in Angular 15 is you do not need to the auth guard file or anything. You do not need to make that auth guard. You just use that auth guard to your route. And I do not know the syntax exactly, but I have read the blog, and there they have provided a simple auth guard reference they are using, and in that particular file you can make the guards in there. And mm, this is done because to make more feasible code and more optimized version of Angular. I didn't use, so I do not know perfectly about it.
Just read it about it. So they have enabled the standard components, so you don't need to import the components and the dependencies to the model they have. So that also one of the part in it. So they are actually moving from the ng module. So like the way we do for React, so whatever you create a component, you don't need to import anywhere. Whenever you need that, you just add that component in the file and you directly use that. So that's kind of things they are trying to do over here as well. So you can go through it. So just read about it. So it may help you.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna start with first Angular now. Then we can move to JavaScript if I get some time or we have some time. Okay. So have you heard about pure pipes and impure pipes?
Uh, Pure pipes haven't used, but Pure pipes, yes. Pure pipes are like we design a pipe by writing ng generate pipe and the pipe name, and we give some data. Until and unless we haven't give any, it won't do anything in our project. And as soon as the data gets injected to it, it just starts working whichever is assigned. Like if you want to filter a tape, you would just send the filtered data whichever you want to filter the complete array, and uh, uh, that keyword which you want to search in that table both gets into the pipe, and pipe just filters out and give you the data. If you want to search Saurabh in the table, and you wrote SAU, then all the letters starting with the SAU will just get printed into the into the table. And other pipes, I think that pipe symbol, and that after that you can just write date pipe, or anything time pipe, both.
So what you mentioned at the end, those are the pre-built pipe.
Two lowercase,
Yeah,
uppercase.
uppercase to lowercase, then date we have, then format we have. So these are the custom, or not the custom, these are the pre-built pipes for us, correct? In that.
Mm.
So the question is now, what is impure pipe? So do you know about it? What exactly the problem with impure pipes?
Don't know, I don't know.
So you can mention this question. You can read about it. So basically what happens? So pure pipes trigger when only the input property gets changed. So as you mentioned that we have to filter some depend upon the text box on the change. So when the input gets changed of the pipe, that time only the your functionality get executed of the pipe. So this is the pure pipe. And impure pipe, whatever happened into the DAO, it will try to reload that every time. So this is the impure pipe.
Okay.
You can read about it.
Okay.
So have you heard about async pipe?
No, I didn't use it, but I heard about it, but I didn't use it in any of my projects, so I don't have any idea about it.
Okay. You can take this question as in the note. Okay. So what is difference between observable and promise?
Promises are something which just emits a single event at a time. Like if you want to hit a API which is giving some JSON, and it just works on the resolve and reject. If it gets the JSON, it would give you and just gets killed. Or otherwise, if it doesn't get the JSON, it would give you the reject and get caught into the catch clause, and just kills itself. Like uh, in both the terms, if it gets or doesn't get, if it won't give you a event, and that is the purpose promise, to give you something and just gets killed after doing the its job. But observable are if you do not subscribe it, until you do not subscribe it, it would be in the sleep position. And as soon as you subscribe it by doing dot subscribe, and you get the input, like observable is giving you observer dot next until it is just completed with its job, and you get the data into the subscribe function or variable. If you make if you made a subscription type of the variable, and you unsubscribe as soon as you go to the another page, so it would give you the next data until and unless you do not unsubscribe it. You can unsubscribe or get the error from it. And in promise, you need to do that dot then chaining until and unless you get the data, and at last you do the final term. It would get executed until if you get the error, or if you get the data. In both the cases, it finally will run. In observable, we have dot next, dot unsubscribe, and dot error, and dot complete.
Okay. So in your project, have you done any API calls as well?
Yeah, I have done API calls.
Okay. So suppose I want to add something to the every API, then how can I do that?
Add something
Suppose I have
every API.
I have one header, then I want to add that header to the every request of the request. So how can I do that? Do you know about it?
Header. We can make global HTML component, and
No,
we
no, no.
can just take it.
I'm not saying about header tag or something. I'm saying
Okay.
when the your request goes to the backend, it has some header that the content type should be JSON or text like that, authorization header. Those are things goes with your request
Ah,
header. Okay, so right now you want to pass authorization header with the request of every request. Then how can I do
okay.
that? That ends.
I can do that with two types, two ways. I can just make the content JSON, that clause that uh, request to every request I am making, or otherwise the correct thing of doing this by using HTTP interceptor. So it just takes your data. Like if you are logging into the system, as soon as you are logged in, it would take your user type or token and everything you have, user data, and you can filter out that you do need to take the token to the every API. So you just pass the local storage item, the token, to the interceptor, and interceptor intercepts it, that if it is the token which we have received from the API, and as soon as it just matches, it makes a request, type request clone, and you can make a request variable into the interceptor, and you can just assign that this dot request is equal to request, and as soon as you just assign it with the dollar symbol, and as soon as you can do it, the API gets registered with the header token, and as soon as you click any API, it would just paste your request token to the APIs, every API. It would be global everywhere.
Yep. So I have one question about it. So you can search it. So as you mentioned that it will take for the every API. Suppose you don't logged in, okay, and you are going to log in right now. So it will try to access that token again as well. So but you are not authorized on that time. So you have to do something in the interceptor method. Okay. So you can check that. How can you do that? Okay. So next question is how can we use a multiple interceptor?
Yeah, we can use multiple interceptor. Like you can use an error interceptor and JWT interceptor. Like if you getting the data, you can use another interceptor that you need to paste the interceptors data, the token, everything, and use the APIs along with it. And you can use the error interceptor. And if you get 404, 401, you can intercept every request type, and you can prompt the error that it is the error I am facing right now, that you have not registered into the application, or you are writing the another URL or anything which you are facing in the application. We can use another interceptor for error intercepting.
Okay.
One interceptor for every request.
Okay. So to new interceptor in your project, where we need to import it into the module.
We need to import it to the app module. App is the root module for your application. So if you need to do anything globally into your application, you need to import into your app module providers section.
Okay. So what are the things we do add in the provider? Any other than interceptor?
Uh, we used to do the Swiss injections also. So in Angular 11, or I don't know in which they have removed, like we used to use the service injection in provider in Angular 9 or 10, but for the tree section shaking concept, they have removed it and used the provided in uh, colon and then in root into the service files, and it shakes your application. Like if you are not using something, it just shakes your application for the optimizing purpose. So we used to do the service injection there, and apart from that, um, I am using ng18 and another modules for my frameworks injection also. Like if it used if it to know the source.
Okay, correct. So tell me, so have you create, you use NG something, NG primer, what it is, or UI? NG what?
Just executes as soon as you are injecting some framework or
I'm not
some
that.
UI frameworks. So
I'm asking you something that you mentioned NG, you are using something, NG, something library or something in that I'm asking. What it is? Means the name of it. Just tell me.
it is a CSS ng0 and design was made for React.js, but later they have made from something for Angular, and it is known as ng0.
So have you heard about entry points, entry component,
Entry points,
entry component in the Acrobat model?
entry components.
Yes.
Entry components are, I think I didn't understood your question completely, but I would try to answer. And if I am wrong, you can.
Okay.
Entry components are something which we are declaring into the declaration part in our Edge module in the module folder, module file, and for the optimization purpose, we just need to import the component into the declaration part, and into the imports part, we use the another modules which we are using in our application that are main to the whole app system, app injection. And as soon as we are just routing in to the app component which we need to see the into the UI first, it would go to the particular module, and yeah, it just gets the another component which we are declaring into the declaration part into another module, and just reads out wherever the component it's need to show the API UI.
So that is bootstrap, not the entry components. So whatever component you want to show on the UI at the beginning, that is the part of the bootstrap of the engine model. So entry component, so what it is exactly, we want to add dynamically something into the UI, correct? Suppose you want to add Angular material dialog box.
Yes.
At that time, you have to import that component into the entry component. So that in that way, it will tell Angular, so I have something, I will load it after some time or whenever required. So, but at the beginning, it will have create that bundle for that bundle as well. So suppose you want to add some tooltip, then you want to add some Angular dialog box. So these things goes to the enter components.
Uh, are you saying about like if I need to use a custom tag of any
No.
module
No.
and just import into that?
No. I'm going to say add something dynamically in your component as a pop-up or something.
ng content.
You can search about it. You will get it. Not the ng content.
Entry components.
Okay, so we'll move to the two things regarding how Angular lifecycle. Uh, tell me, so what is difference between on changes and on do check?
On changes
is something which just gets executed as soon as the constructor completes its execution. Constructor is not logically part of your Angular lifecycle because it's an outsider, but the lifecycle starts from the ng-on changes. As soon as you are bootstrapping your application in the browser and the browser shows something, as soon as something, it just gets the changes which just executed as soon as constructor completes his application, and ng on changes hits with every changes it has detected into your application. And after ng on changes, ng on init, and after ng on init, ng do check runs. Ng do check is something which gets executed every time you do some changes in your application, like any changes, or but any changes gets detected by ng do check, and ng on changes is something which gets executed if you change something in your input or output operator. It just gets the input or output changes, and as soon as you are injecting some input to your child application from your parent, and it just gets detected by ng on changes, and it just hits itself on that time. And ng to check hits every time any changes happen. If you are typing something or entering something or anything, clicking or making some API calls, every time ng to check would execute.
Okay. How we can bind a data into Angular?
We can bind data in two types of binding, and one type of binding is just for event binding, like click event or mouse over event or anything. So if you are out some data from children to parent, we just binds in the data into HTML component. And binding is interpolation bind. It is like string binding from your HTML, from your TypeScript. Like if you are getting some number, or I said string binding, but it is interpolation. We just used the we just need to use the curly braces on your HTML, and it just picks every value it is getting from TypeScript into the variable, and just variable name would be needed in your application HTML file. And property binding is like if you want to bind a value into your input tag, we just use that curly braces of value is equals to, and just pick the value whichever it is coming from HTML TypeScript to your HTML. It would just pick the value of that variable, and just hits it with the value. If I was able to make it understand too.
So, what is two-way binding with?
Two-way binding is like if you are writing some data into input tag, like input section, like if you are writing my name, so, and as soon as you are hitting S, it just tells the TypeScript that S has been typed, AURABH. The both the data would get communicated to the TypeScript, and as soon as you hit enter with your form submit or any button you have mentioned, doing,
Right.
as soon as you hit the submit.
So, suppose you have a engineer, right? Okay, name equal to Saurabh. And how can you communicate between both now? So, you are doing something into your view now. You change to Saurabh to Kumar. So, how your Java TypeScript will know that something happened for this variable that I'm asking?
We use something like
There is one model.
if I am writing something in the chat, can you just see it?
at your typing. Correct.
What it
Engine model we use.
around
Correct.
the model.
That I was saying. Correct. Okay.
NG model would be like this. I just type it wrong.
Not about that thing. No. Okay. So how many ways we can create a form into Angular?
We can make forms by two types. Okay, so in Angular later Angular types, we used to do the forms with template forms. So template forms are like everything is present on your template, HTML template. Or another type of forms is reactive forms, which is getting transmitted from your TypeScript file. So everything, the most thing is present on your TypeScript, the controller part, and you just get the data, whatever that from control or anything which you want to type it from your form. You just get the data from your HTML, whichever form control name, and you just type your name and type your name would be getting transmitted to your TypeScript file, and that TypeScript file would communicate with the API.
Okay. So to use both the type of form, what module we have to import into the engine module?
We need to import forms module for template and forms module for reactive forms also, but reactive forms works with another module like reactive forms module.
Okay. So which one is the better?
Both are better, sir. If you want to design a form with 500 input controls, you cannot do the task with template forms. Like you need to do so much of task in your HTML template. So we use in that case reactive forms. And in template forms, you can just make a form which is just for login form, like you are writing your name and password and just hitting your um, submit button and just communicate with your API. And in that case, reactive forms is a power tool. So you can use anything in anywhere, but both have their your own use cases for everything.
Basically, suppose you have only simple form like the way you mentioned that email address and password, then at that time you can use interpretation form. But basically, whenever you want to do some manipulation at the before sending your data to the backend or API, so at that time you want to do some verification and all. At that time, we use to use prefer reactive, basically.
Ah, validator skin.
Yeah. So validator and three are the make more us to easy to make it as a validation properly. Okay. So can we use multiple router outlet?
We can use multiple router outlet in different component files. Like if you are having an app component, you can use router outlet tag in your app component.html for only once, and you can use router outlet in another component for only once. Like one component is equals to one router outlet.
So we use our router outlet into the app.module.html, correct? Above we
Yeah,
have
yeah.
debug footer. So can I use multiple over there only?
No, we cannot use multiple over there.
You can read about it. We can use that. We have to pass the name. What type of router outlet would be there? So the way we can do that. We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pasting some code for it, so you can just check it. That's right. Put the chat box.
Okay.
So see, I have pasted router outlet name child one.
Okay.
Okay, and if you see path child component, your path is blank, so means your home page, and outlet is child one.
Okay, like this way we can use
So
multiple router.
the way
I
you are
didn't use
telling,
it.
the way you are telling your browser, so this router outlet belongs to child one. So child one, it is the child one component. So it automatically loads child one component one. Yeah. That is how we can.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So what is difference between types of view encapsulation? Have you heard about it?
Types of view encapsulations.
Yes.
Uh, I have heard about it, but I don't know about.
Yes. Okay.
I have heard
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. You can read about it. I will just tell you in the little bit idea. So basically, when you write your CSS into the further components, so suppose you have some common CSS, means one CSS that available in the other component as well, component A and component B, and you are writing same class into multiple things, multiple places. So it should not override your existing CSS with the new component. So because of that, the view encapsulation works for us in the background. So it won't affect one component CSS to the another component. So this is the way is the work. So basically that is the native, or we can say it's a different kind of thing. And if you are not doing that view encapsulation at that time, it will not add that wrapper. So if you inspect your Angular element, so you will see that there is one ng underscore ng and there is a custom tag over there they have added. So that get attached to your CSS as well. So this is how that browser will understand that this attribute has this class and this class has this attribute attached to it. So this is the correct CSS for that element. This is the way that works for us. And another one is the none. As I mentioned, that it will not add that ng something content attribute. You can inspect Angular element in your project and you can see that. And another thing, there is a shadow DOM as well. So in that way, it will create a separate DOM from your current DOM. So whatever CSS you written into that shadow DOM, it will not affect outside.
Okay.
Yes, these are three types over there.
Okay, view as encapsulation.
Yeah, you.
पढ़ूंगा सर इसके बारे में.
No problem. Okay, so I think I have covered the tricky question, whatever I can ask you. So JavaScript part, we are not able to take today. So maybe we can connect for tomorrow. So we can do that. So you have any questions? So I can wrap up in 5 minutes for you, as you are going to office. So that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How did I perform? But I need to ask that can I clear the interview? Right.
Yeah.
So
You have good knowledge. So you don't need to work on the your Angular side that much. But I must say what your question, as I told you to about the pure pipe, async pipe, and observable versus promise difference. So just brush up on that part and then try to do this multiple router outlet and interceptor things. These are the common questions mostly you interview will ask you. So
okay.
just brush up only. I'm not saying read thoroughly everything. So you should know in the little bit idea about everything. So, we did not talk about the content projection as well today. Then how to make communication between multiple components. So these are the common questions. So you might already know about. So how can we do that? Then how to call and packet it there. So you already have that knowledge. So that's why I did not ask you. So if I want to add some service, then what procedure I need to follow? These are some this type of common questions they will ask you. And regarding your questions and answers, so I'm I'm good with it. So if I am taking you into the part of any company, then I must select you. So that's not the part one.
Okay.
So but JavaScript, you should prepare for JavaScript as well because 90% question will come from the JavaScript only because the JavaScript the basic for everyone. Angular, React, Vue, everything based on the JavaScript. So you should have put in JavaScript, then you can work on any JavaScript framework.
Yes, sir. I just need to tell you that I have cleared an interview with TCS, but TCS just asked me everything from Angular. But the HR said that Capgemini is a bit tough, so that's why I was in fear. That's why I was
No, that is my
and I was
So see the way you are thinking. So this is a big company, so they will ask more deep in the question. So as per your experience, work on your skill only. So not the problem. So whatever you can do, try to do that. That's it. So if you have more experience,
Yes.
then
Can I have another interview with you tomorrow with JavaScript only?
yeah, we can have, we can. I can try to manage that in the morning. Or otherwise, I will tell you at the evening. You just you ping me at the same time yesterday. We can.
Saying something.
No. We can have tomorrow another round. So I can cover the JavaScript question for you.
Okay. So I have sent you a request on LinkedIn. So please accept it.
Yeah. I already accepted. Okay.
Okay. Sir. Okay, Bhavan. Bye. Thank you for the time. 40 minutes of your valuable time.
No problem.
Okay. Anytime.
And start with first. Now JavaScript.
Okay.
So can you please tell me JavaScript synchronous is asynchronous?
JavaScript is a synchronous language, and we do it asynchronous by methods, applying methods like set timeout, promises, and other things into this to make it asynchronous language. We do things asynchronously with the help of some functions and some methods.
Okay. So if I want to make synchronous only, then what I need to do?
Synchronous is by default. JavaScript is totally asynchronous language. Like it reads your variable first if you are writing a variable at line number 1, and line number 2 is a function. So it would read the function after reading your variable.
Okay. So how the JavaScript code get executed? Then what are the pages over the page?
Huh?
What are the pages of JavaScript code to execution?
Memory initialization and compilation is the two phases. Execution phase and memory initialization, like memory allocation. Memory allocation is something which happens when you are declaring some variables or fat arrow functions with variable holding the function, and it initializes your variables with undefined, and functions get stored in a block. And when the compilation phase execution phase executes, so it would just assign your values, like whichever values you are assigning to the variable, and it would run your functions and give you the results.
Okay. So if you are trying to access some variable before its declaration, so what will happen in that case?
Function declaration.
No, you have one variable, okay, at line
Okay.
number 10, but you are trying to print that variable at line number 1.
Okay.
What will
So the hoisting happens like first of all, the variable at line number 1 would get printed undefined. Okay, and then when the variable get issued with a value, whichever you are validating with the value, and if you print the value at line number 11 after initializing the variable, so it would give you the variable's value, and line number 1 would get you the undefined because of the hosting.
Okay. To make a project as asynchronous, what are the ways we need to do?
What I didn't.
If I want to make a JavaScript code asynchronous, so what things we need to do instead of set timeout?
We can do it by promises. We can do it by async await. Async await, I didn't use it async await in any project, but I did use promises and observables, and these things are so much useful when we are doing on board with the asynchronous.
Have you heard about callbacks?
Yeah, I heard about callbacks. Callbacks are also asynchronous. It helps us with the asynchronous coding.
So what is disadvantage of callback?
Callbacks create a callback hell kind of tree. Like you are calling a function under another function, and calling another function under another function. So debugging becomes very heavy, and it becomes impossible to debug a code which is having a callback hell, and it is becoming a very large tree in your code. So we take the help of promises and promise chaining to counter this problem.
Okay. So what are the type of promises we have?
Promises are of two types, I think. One type of promise I have used in my project. Another is promise.all. Promise.all happens when if you want to complete your all the promises into one go. Like you want to complete your 10 promises in like if you are sure about every promise is getting to be executed correctly. So you can just promise dot all of them, or otherwise, if any promise get hampered or any promise get error in it, or it goes in reject mode, so it would turn back from them there only. Like six promise got reject, so it would turn back from there only 6 points.
Okay. So if the promise get failed, then how can we catch that?
Get back.
If the promise get failed, then how can we close? Okay. What exactly we need to do?
Promise got failed. So promise fail. So you can catch it with catch, or otherwise, if promise got succeeded, you catch it with then. Then catches the resolve code, resolve block, and catches the reject code. And finally catches everything. Like if you are saying something to the user that your promise got succeeded, so you can write it with finally.
So have you heard about closure?
Yeah, I heard about.
So what is lexical scope?
Lexical scope is something which, if you are calling your parent function variable into your child function, and if you are having a child function under your child function, so you are chaining the variable scope into your child, inner child to inner child and inner child. So it becomes a chain, and it becomes your lexical scope, and it is the lexical scope property which closest to you.
Okay. So what are the exactly closure function and the normal function?
Uh, Closure functions are like you are uh, having a function, another function to another function. So you create a scope, but function is a single scope value. मतलब single scope block. So you do not have any another function under another function. So if you are having another function to another function, so it becomes a product.
Okay. So what is the difference between arrow function and normal function?
Arrow function is introduced in ES6 introduction. Like ES6 uses fat arrow function to uh, like you can use it with arrow, and you can initialize in any variable, and it becomes like it hoists your function. And the main thing with the arrow function which you can use it, like you can assign it like a variable, like const. You can say it const variable name and is equals to, so it becomes hoisting, or and you create a function which cannot be used or assign another value into it. So you can make it like arrow function is like you are assigning a arrow is equals to, and writing the block becomes arrow function. Okay.
So arrow function going to hoist or not?
Yeah, arrow function is going to hoist, but it would get undefined until and unless it is getting assigned into your line where you are assigning it into the variable.
Okay. Okay. So have you heard about arguments inside the function?
Yeah, I have heard about argument.
So how can we achieve in the arrow function that?
Arrow function is like arguments was introduced before ES6. ES6 came with rest and spread operators. Arguments was something if you are sending or suppose 20 arguments in your function. So you can hold all of them in argument function, argument, and you can process the array with anything you want to, and just give the result. But the problem was, if you're sending some string or anything, so it would get concatenated with the string. So we introduced rest and spread operator. So it just takes your desired value and gives you the desired.
So can we use a rest operator for question event array?
What element?
You have three parameters, correct? If you are,
Yeah.
and you have one function that's generating the sum of that three element. Okay.
Uh,
So now can you use that rest parameter as a first argument into that function?
No, you cannot use the rest operator as the first argument. You need to use it at the last, or it would give you some error that error. I don't remember what syntax error. It would give you syntax error that this syntax JavaScript doesn't follow to or give you the rest operator at first of your function.
So if I want to push the something into the beginning of the array and the end of the array, so how can I do that?
In the beginning of the array, I do not remember, but I remember the last time you can do the push and give the whatever the value you want.
So we can use a unchipped for that. So we can add the beginning.
Okay.
Okay.
And the,
Other thing, you already mentioned that the spread operator, correct?
Yeah.
So with the invoke spread operator also we can do. We can check it.
okay. The spread operator it's the making so would just assign.
So what is destructuring exactly? What it does?
Destructuring gives you the power to just destructure the array. Like if you are knowing that your array is like 10 length and it is having 10 number, so you can just assign at the left side and you can assign 10 variables, and you can just get all of the array's value into 10 variables separately, and you can just print it, and it would print 10 variables separately. So it is destructuring, and it is used in React so much, like use state, use the hooks, and use hooks kind of thing. Use state, so you just use it in there, and it is very helpful in there to hold values in set state and the state variable.
It's okay. So what is false stack? Have you heard about it?
Call stack, yes.
Yeah.
Call stack in JavaScript is something like it creates a stack. Like what what is the thing the JavaScript going to run first, and what is the thing JavaScript is going to run at your last, and it creates a stack array, and it just executes your function, and as soon as it gets executed, it just removes the function or anything which is getting assigned into the call stack, and moves to the another.
What is polyfills?
Poly,
Polyfills.
I don't. Politics,
Okay, so बेसिकली क्या होता है ना, समझ लो तुम्हारा ब्राउजर लेटेस्ट वर्जन पे चल रहा है, ठीक है, ES6 फीचर इनेबल है, लेकिन तुम्हारा वेबसाइट ना समझ लो इंटरनेट एक्सप्लोरर पे चला रहे हो, ठीक है, तो जो ES6 के नए फीचर्स है ना वो वहाँ पे अवेलेबल नहीं, तो इसलिए ना वो पॉलीफिल लिखते हैं हम। तो फॉर इच मेथड है हमारे पास, हेडिंग का, देन वी हैव रीडिंग, देन वी हैव फिल्टर, so for that we have to write polyfills. So when that browser get detected by it is the less than the ES6 picture, then the polyfill will work for you. So you can work it. So, yeah.
मतलब मैं ये समझने की कोशिश कर रहा था कि मतलब जैसे पॉलीफिल ये काम करेगा कि अगर ब्राउजर के अंदर वो फंक्शन नहीं है तो उसको इम्बेड करेगा, इंजेक्ट करेगा, राइट?
यस, वैसे ही, लेकिन हम फंक्शंस के रिगार्डिंग बात करते हैं। ओके, समझ कर लिया। सो दैट इज दैट। Okay. So how can we avoid the blocking calls?
Blocking call.
Yes. First of all, tell me what is blocking calls.
Uh, Blocking calls I didn't understood correctly. Block stop.
Blocking calls, call API calls.
Okay. Okay. Blocking API call. Okay. There. So, cloud.
With the encompassing of it, we do that. One kind of thing, the banning. If you are writing something on the
Okay.
backend, then instead of writing as a blocking, then we use async and await, so we get not the block that I'm working on is. Okay. So then event loop into the concept. What exactly event loop?
So, event loop is a cycle which creates, which is created by JavaScript. Promises like functions are stored in the microstack. There are types of queues in here. Event loop cycle. One is the three type of queues. One is the normal queue, one is the priority queue, and one is the micro stack queue. So micro stack queue is getting assigned with promises or any callback function, which is going to be assigned first of all, like it is going to be executed before every. So if you are calling a promise, it would get into the microstack queue, and it is a event loop which is getting stacked with some commands, some processes, and it JavaScript just executes one after another, one after another. And if it is getting the promise or any bonus, would just get into there, and it would just point to them and just executes and get back to your another function which you are calling first. If you are having a function, another function to another function, so it just creates a one stack after another stack after another stack, and clears the code one after another, after another to clear the stack first, and just then go back to your another code which you want to run.
Okay. So that is the micro task queue, not the stack. Micro task queue.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, if I create a variable without var late cons, then it will give an error or what will happen?
Let and const, and you want to hoist.
No, I mean to say, if I don't use var late cons before any variable, then what type of variable it would be, or it will give an error to you?
It would give an error in JavaScript, but it won't give you an error in Angular.
Why?
You have to specify what type of scope you want to be assigning into the variable. Like let and const.
Wait. What is global variable in JavaScript?
Global variable in JavaScript is var. Var is assigned with the window scope and the main window object.
So tell me now, if I do name equal to something, anything, name equal to city name, you are then.
Yeah.
Then what will happen? So it will give an error or it will attach to window object.
You didn't specify where or let.
Yes, correct.
Right. Name is just no any given answer. Yeah. It would give an error.
No, already I asked you how to create a global variable. Okay, so you said that it will attach to window object, correct?
Yeah.
So you can create a global variable without var let const. So that will be the global variable for you. That is
Okay, sir.
yeah. So what is prototype in JavaScript?
If you are creating an object, like you are having an object and if you are having some data in the object, and if you are printing the object, so it would have a prototype block into the console, and if you open it, it would be having the constructor and everything blocked in there, and you can assign some constructor into your the object or anything, and it would run like class kind of thing, object oriented programming.
Okay. And what is underscore underscore proto and underscore underscore?
Underscore prototype is said in JavaScript, and dash dash proto underscore underscore proto is printed in the console. So both are same. Like
Okay. So whatever you write in JavaScript, at final, what it get run in the browser?
okay,
Object.
whatever. मेरे को question or
No, no. I'm saying if you are creating some variable, then functions, then you are calling some APIs and all everything. So at the end, you run your code into browser, it gets passed, correct? So I'm asking, so at last, what it get executed, like the way it is creating functions for everything, or it is create objects for everything. Have you seen that file by chance?
in JavaScript, everything is an object and everything is a prototype. So it runs your code as an object. But if you are writing some functions and everything, like suppose if you are having an object, and in the object, uh, you are having some methods, some variables, and everything. So it treats your code as an object and gets the variables and everything as a functions and methods into the object. Have you understood what I am?
Okay, no problem. Okay. So, what is the use of immediately invoked function?
Immediately invoke function, I do not know about it. Can you brief it?
So, they create a regular function and you need to wrap that function into a brace so that we use a calling a function. So, what will happen? So, as soon as that function, that line comes to that function, it get automatically get executed. So, you don't need to call that function from the somewhere else. So, that is immediately invoked function, IIFE.
Okay.
So yeah. So note down this question. So most of the time interview will ask you this question and regarding some other question as well. Suppose you have that immediately no function and you have some variable, okay? So you are not able to access that variable outside. That is the power of that. But if you have some scenario over there, you want to update that variable. So this is one problem question. Huh? So if that function get executed, already executed, so how can you update that variable? So now the closure comes to the picture. So with the pub closure, you can do that. So 3, 4 question will be there regarding this. So you can keep that. Okay. So what is event bubbling and event capturing?
Event bubbling is like suppose event bubbling. I am forget.
Okay. So basically, let me tell you. So basically, what happened when your JavaScript application get loaded? So 2 pages over there, capturing and bubbling. So when your DOM get loaded, so capturing page get created. Then first of all, your HTML element get created. Then head. Then it comes to the body. Sorry, it comes to the HTML element body. Then it will come to your main div or something. So this is the capturing page. So everything get captured. Okay, for the HTML only, not the for the click events and all that. And bubbling means suppose you have one parent, grandparent, and one child, and you have on click function on each of them. So what will happen if you click on the child one, that the parent also get triggered, grandparent also get triggered. So this is bubbling, and vice versa is capturing.
Okay.
Please read about it.
Okay.
Okay. So do you know what is module pattern in JavaScript?
Module pattern in Angular, I know, but JavaScript I don't know.
Same here. Same here. Tell me what.
Okay, so module pattern मैं फिर बता सकता हूँ.
Yes.
So in module pattern, we create a header module like the parent module of everything, and in that module we inject another module in the child module, and in the child module we inject another child module. So it becomes an inheritance of module. So if a call is coming from the parent,
This is little bit.
it's assigned to the child.
You are think that's something different. Not this question at that. Okay. So we talked about the ES6 some features. So what are the new another array method get added into the ES6?
Array method. Two array or mm, something like there. For each
Yes.
loops for loops we have added for each.
And the reduce those are also there.
Yeah,
With some of
filter reduce.
yeah, those are also added. Okay. So what is debouncing and throttling?
I don't.
Okay. So read about this. Okay.
Okay.
It covered almost the basic of the each of the part. Only the coding part I am not asked because you are not the way that you are traveling. So that is why I did not ask you about the coding questions.
Okay.
Okay, so do you have any question for me? I think I had done with your interview. That was JavaScript.
Okay. So I would not be asking this to the actual interviewer, but I am asking you that will I get cleared into the interview by these answers which I have given?
I think you given the answers as per expectation. That is not the problem, but depends upon the interviewer now. So what things you want, and the similar type of question they will not ask you, correct? So every individual have their own mind of set, every questions and all. So I just asking the randomly question. So see, you have 10 questions, okay? And the 10 questions he can ask by 30 types. Okay.
Okay.
So if any interviewer will try to trick you, so I cannot say about it. So that is why I was trying to ask you some tricky questions. So at least you should be prepared for those. Yeah. So basically, whatever I can ask as an interview, those type of question I asked you. So maybe you are good at that. So just read about the questions which I asked you to read about or something to research. To do that, so I think once part is done, help for please.
Okay. And you don't need to read about the in Angular. You don't need to read about the
View encapsulation. View encapsulation. Two things I told you, I think, yesterday.
view encapsulation. I read about it and I understood the thing which is being set in view encapsulation, and another was something like
In pure pipe, I think, async pipe, I told you.
yeah, async pipe. Also, I read about it, and pure pipe and pure pipes. And one thing was also there, which was I didn't found it anywhere.
Which one?
Component something. We told me about it.
Content projection.
Content projection. I know ng content. You can do it with it.
Component. What I asked, I'm not.
Entry component.
Entry component. Entry component. You can find now. If it's easier, let's go to your
Is it
Angular website.
it about child content or anything like child content?
See, something you need to add to the DOM dynamically, okay, as a pop-up or something. At that time, we use entry components.
Okay.
So that's it. Not so much thing regarding that. Let me open that. Let me share my screen. So you can go to your this website, angular.io, correct?
Yes, sir.
You can see that you can specify the entry component by bootstrapping in ng model, including the routing definition. Okay. So let me show you your bootstrap entry component. This is the bootstrap. Okay. So not the exact entry components, whatever I was. So it should be there. Let me show you. Yeah. So this is there from the 9 Angular 9. Okay. Priority no longer. अच्छा, इसके बाद मैंने call. Let me show you that here it is. we use that multiple techniques.
Okay.
We can also see this one into two mechanism accounts for the most entry component if your application happens to bootstrap or dynamically load component by this one. See, at that time only. So I can show you some example of what that is. And then go where I really have the second back and then I can show you four things now. Okay, see now. You have one component. Okay. That component is my component name, correct? And you want to open this and a dialog, another dialog. Let me directly enter a dialog box and you will get it. Two things are over there now. You can get easily if I can open. Not this. Open the different later. Now you have this dialog box, okay? And you have this file. Let it run. You'll get some time. Okay. If you see all these type of components, dialog demo, Java demo, all these are come to the entry component. I will demo.
Just assign to the ng module, just then.
Yes. So on the entry components, I
Get a method out of it.
the people why it is not showing her. It is loading. See, if you see, here he has given the example. You are creating Angular component, Angular dialog box, correct? You are opening with the dialog window of the Angular, correct? And this requires to register that component to the entry component. If you not add, you will get this error. No component factory found. This one because you are not calling this component from the HTML element like the way we call opening closing bracket, correct? So for such kind of thing, you need to add it here in the component.
Okay, so
You know that
dynamically you are adding.
yeah. I mean, we call like this, correct? Okay. You are calling like
we
are not calling like this.
inject ng context.
Yes. You are injecting that component dynamically into your view. Okay.
Okay.
So on that time, we need to use this one.
Okay.
That's it. If you are not used, then you will get an error.
Just
You can create one
just
example like this and don't add. You will get this error easily.
call the open dialog function on a clip of any function.
Yes. See now, I have this open dialog, okay? Or closing this one, and now I'm moving from intake component. Okay, now what will it? I remove or the
It is running now.
no, it will not stop. If I remove all these things from here now, then it's in it. Don't work. See, no component factory found in Jazz dialog. Will you add? Let me show you the way. You add it into ng module entry components. So this is the whatever we have removed from here. If I add this Jazz and dialog, then you will not get this error. So this is the one key over there. Then now it will be not getting it.
Super awesome. I didn't know about it. Well, otherwise, I would have.
No. The name of a tricky type of question. So if the person knows that, then only he will ask. If you don't know, then why me? Okay, then
So, I think we have only 1 minute. You can see at the top.
You can you tell me about HTML and anything? What will he ask? Correct.
What priority? No. We work on the semantic element. Then give a JavaScript local storage, session storage, web workers for the Java for the HTML and CSS. Try to some example regarding the make the div as a center. Then what are the positions? Then what are the inline element, block level element? What is the box model? So those kind of basic question, not in the depth.
Okay, Pavan. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
Okay. Then bye.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye. No problem.